One of the mistakes that I often make is that I mistakenly will default to thinking that people think the exact same way that I do. And I've learned that that is almost never true. Almost nobody thinks exactly the same way I do, and I suspect most people don't think the same way that you do. But this video I have to share because I just got a phone call from a financial advisor who I know knows better, but he was just scammed out of a significant amount of money when doing business, or allegedly thinking he was doing business, with a for sale by owner scammer. Somebody who's out there intentionally trying to defraud the general public and make a quick buck. And I can sometimes forget that people don't know what they don't know. And this is a big watch out for anybody who is thinking about transacting business with a for sale by owner. And to be clear, not all for sale by owners are bad people. They're usually just looking to save money on commission. But there is also a subset of scamsters that are going to prey on other people. They are looking to defraud you. And so if you're shopping on a Craigslist or some weird website that nobody's ever heard of in hopes of finding a deal that nobody else will know about, and you found something that seems too good to be true, well, that's because it's probably too good to be true. Now, many of you know, I was a stockbroker for damn near 20 years. And over my, well, to be exact, it was 18. Over my 18-year career in the financial services industry, I met lots of people and created lots of relationships with people who are in that industry. And I maintain those relationships. So I'm friends with lots of folks who should know better and should have a much better sense of financial fraud when they see it. And this person completely ignored all the obvious warning signs. So I wanted to share this video with you because I suspect most of you are not financial advisors. Most of you were not in the financial services industry. Most of you were not stockbrokers for 20 years. But I'm also aware that Wall Street has benefited greatly from scamming lots of people, lots of times, in countless different ways. There have been all types of financial frauds that have happened recently. I mean, Bernie Madoff comes to mind as top of mind, but there are so many completely fraudulent things that happen in the financial markets. And although there are regulatory bodies and agencies that are in place to protect the general public, they don't always work. And so there's a lot of folks out there that hate the institutions and hate Wall Street and want them to be punished. And well, I don't really think that the financial advisor that I have in mind deserves to be punished for fraud or bad deeds. He certainly deserves to be punished for being so stupid to fall for this stuff. But nonetheless, he did. And so here's what happened. Someone that I know who was shopping for a home, and speaking of shopping for homes, I am turning into a community out here in Lake Worth called Sherbrooke Estates. And I want to just kind of drive and talk through the neighborhood, but it should be noted that this particular community, and I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see it, and the home that's right there to your right, I sold a few years ago, and since then, the value of that home has skyrocketed. But this community is really nice. So one of the benefits of living in this community when it was originally built is that it was on a golf course. And so anybody who lived in here was very likely a member of that golf club, although it was not a mandatory membership golf club, but they got to live that lifestyle. And the homes that are in here are massive for the most part. It's a very exclusive community. It is a very low HOA. And what's unique about it is when this was originally developed, land was a lot cheaper. So when you see these homes, you can't help but notice all of them have massive lots, tremendous privacy, and this is an incredible neighborhood to live in. Now that's an older home. As we keep driving, you'll start to see some of the newer ones, but this is a little slice of heaven out here in West Lake Worth, which, to be clear, is not in the middle of nowhere. This is 20 minutes or maybe tops 30 minutes from the beach, but you've got tremendous privacy, well, I'm driving into a dead end here. Well, I don't think anybody wants to experience a dead end, although I suspect my friend who got defrauded hopes the scammer that he was doing business with meets a dead end. Not physically, although he might actually wish that, but certainly legally. I'm sure he wants his money back, which is almost not ever going to happen. But this community, which was built around a golf country club and experienced the golf country club lifestyle, no longer has that as an option, because many years ago, the golf club went out of business. It went bankrupt. And the truth behind the matter is the golf club, which was in a state of ruin and disrepair for a long time, went up in smoke. It allegedly was hit by lightning, and there was a massive fire which destroyed the golf club, which, whether that was intentional or real, I don't know, but nonetheless, it did burn down. And for a long time, the actual course was unkempt. It was growing out of control. And I'm only sharing all of this because I can tell you with certainty that developers have been clamoring for the rights to develop that for a long time. And because it's deed restricted and the people who live here do not want that to be developed into anything other than a golf course, they have fought like hell for years to ensure that that does not happen. Well, at the end of the day, I know that money talks and bullshit walks. So at some point, I do suspect that eventually that will be developed into something else. But for now, at least as of the most recent research that I've done, that golf course is sitting there rotting. And none of the people who live here are able to max out and enjoy that opportunity. But you can bet your sweet bippy that a developer at some point is going to. Which brings me back to my financial advisor friend story, and I use the term friend loosely, and I'll recharacterize that as an acquaintance, really somebody I know through someone else. But nonetheless, his story is a big watch out, because if he can get scammed, anybody can get scammed. But nonetheless, he's shopping for a property. He finds what he thinks is his dream home. He reaches out to who he thinks is the owner of this for sale by owner home and starts negotiating a deal. And what it should also be noted, which really adds insult to injury, the financial advisor's significant other, his wife, also has a real estate license. So we've got a financial advisor and we've got someone with a real estate license in contract negotiations with a for sale by owner who may or may not actually be the homeowner. And I could tell you that within about 2 seconds, I would know who the actual owner of the home is, but this financial advisor and realtor wife did not know how to do their own diligence or do their own due diligence to sniff that out. Nonetheless, they wanted what they wanted, and they wanted it now, and they thought they got the deal of a lifetime, and they thought they were saving so much money by doing this off the grid. They did not need to have an attorney. They did not need to have a real estate professional. They did not need to have a title company. They didn't need to have anybody involved in this process, up to and including the standard Florida FAR bar contract that every real estate agent has access to, period. They didn't think to use that paperwork. Instead, what they went with was a back-of-the-napkin handshake agreement, bullshit contract that they thought would enable them to purchase this home and protect them with all of the protections that are built into the purchase agreement. That, again, is available for free to every single licensed Florida realtor. And if you are a licensed realtor and don't know how to access that information, please reach out, because I would be happy to point you in the right direction. And separately, if you're thinking about buying with a for sale by owner or selling for sale by owner, and you want those resources that protect you for free, please reach out, because I'll send them to you. I would rather have myself or somebody on my team just send you the information or the contracts for free so that you don't get defrauded. Anyhow, back to this genius who thought he was saving himself all this money and aggravation and time in order to buy his dream home. But what he did was wire $10,000 as an earnest money deposit, good faith deposit, to the seller. Now, he didn't send it to a title company. He didn't send it to someone who has a fiduciary responsibility to ensure that the money's safe. He didn't do any of that. He wired it directly. And actually, I don't even know if he wired it. He may have Zelled it. He may have PayPal'd it. I don't exactly know how he transferred the funds, but somehow he transferred $10,000 of his own money into this account, which obviously, now in hindsight, I know was a fraudulent account, and he's out 10 grand. But at this point in the process, he didn't know that. So he sends $10,000 to a stranger on a home that he doesn't even know that he's sending it to the right person or not, to the actual seller or not, but he thinks he is. And he continues to progress through what he thinks is the contract to close process. And when it comes time for the next big deposit, which is several $100,000 worth of money that is due, he wants some more information, and he starts asking the right questions. And what he comes to learn is that the scamster / seller of this particular property ghosted him completely, cannot be found, does not exist. And he started to panic. He started to freak out. He started to feel like, one, he lost 10 grand, but more importantly, and I don't know if it's more importantly, but in addition to whatever that $10,000 loss feels like to him, he also had his dream crushed, because he thought he was getting this incredible deal on this incredible property, and mentally him and his wife and his family had already moved into it. Their fantasy living this life in this new home, that dream just got extinguished. It just got crushed. And so he's obviously upset. He's obviously in a panic, and now he's looking for more answers. Well, I don't know exactly how it happened, but there was another reach out from the scamster who demanded a much bigger payment immediately. And the financial advisor, despite everything that I just told you, almost did it. He was probably a button push away from wiring, and again, I don't know that it's wiring. It could have been some other method of payment. But he was about to send a bigger deposit, which makes no sense, but nonetheless, he was going to. Bigger than the original back of the cocktail napkin agreement or handshake agreement that they came up with. He was about to wire even more than the original deposit that they agreed on, which again is insane, makes no sense. But because the fear of missing out was so big, and because the scamster was so good at scamming, he almost fell for it. Thank God he didn't. Thank God he reached out to somebody who had the presence of mind to let him know that, hey, this doesn't pass the sniff test. I think you just got defrauded. And so finally, he realized that, wait a second, I need to do something different. And he reached out to his attorney, which should have happened a lot sooner than any of these other steps. But anyhow, he finally brings in his attorney. Well, the attorney is in Texas, and the Texas attorney doesn't understand Florida real estate laws, and the Texas attorney is also giving him bad advice. But the bad advice was better than the no advice that he had previously, because he did not send the money, thank God. But that being said, what he did was file a police report. And so the police came, and that's how I know about the story, because that's what got everybody's attention. He called the police and he told his friends about it, and because that happened, I learned about the story. But the police and a police report is not going to help you, period. You might think it is, but it's not. You lost your money. Best of luck. You're never going to collect that $10,000 again. And if you do, you're going to end up spending $50,000 to get the 10 back, which again, you're never going to get back. You're just going to continue to throw money out the window, chasing a dream that was a pipe dream to begin with. That all being said, I'm sharing this only because if you are thinking about buying or selling and you choose to work with a for sale by owner, or you find something online that seems too good to be true, please do your due diligence. Do not enter into a contract with anybody without knowing what you're signing. Ensure that you are working with the right professionals and a title company and an attorney and at least have a real estate professional review it. Don't go in blind, and for the love of God, don't send anybody money directly, ever. Never. Because if you do, the odds are you just got scammed. Now, I hope you found this content valuable, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel. Check out my next video, because I suspect you will love it a lot. And until next time, peace.